I'm Krista Oldenburg, and I'm applying for Praxis. So, define who you are in one sentence. I think I'll give you my personal motto, which is I never asked for an easy life, just a worthwhile one. And I think that has served me well over the years whenever I'm overwhelmed and, just not doing too well. I'll repeat that motto to myself. And I never have asked for an easy life, but it makes me think, well, is this thing worthwhile? Is this thing worth pursuing? So if it is, then it makes me more determined in that way. Let's see. Why am I applying for Praxis, and what are my program goals? Okay, so I'm applying for Praxis because I think it is the most efficient and high quality way to get what I want. And what I want is to be immersed in the business world, and not only just to get into business, but to get into a business that is improving the world. And not just improving the world, but also where I can improve myself by doing it. And I think that's very in line with what Praxis is about, as far as what I can tell. So I'm very excited. My program goals, I think I don't have a whole lot of business experience. So I think most of my program goals include just giving me the skill set that I will need to be successful in a business world. I think I already have a lot of the qualities that I can be successful, but some of the skills, I might not have since I don't have that experience and background. What skills, talents, and mentality do I have that would be valuable to a business today? I think I have a lot of skills and qualities that could be valuable to a business. Some of them you might not get right away from looking at my background, because a lot of my background is has to do with farming and animals and kids, stuff like that. But I think it actually is quite applicable, especially when you look at farming, because I didn't grow up on a farm, so I was very immersed in it as an adult. Went in there and had to basically figure it all out very quickly. And a lot of what you learn is you have to be very efficient. You have to look for problems. You have to always be constantly on the alert for problems, and because they have disastrous consequences. And how can you improve the environment to be very efficient? So it is very hard to make money as a farmer, so you always have to have that efficiency in mind. Let's see, who is my favorite philosopher / thinker? This is hard to just pick one. I don't know who my favorite philosopher thinker is of all time, but lately I've been listening a lot to both Steve Patterson and Russell Brand. And Russell Brand, you might think, oh, he's a celebrity, but he actually has some very deep concepts. And the reason why I like listening to him, I agree with a lot of what he says, but he approaches it in a different way than I do. So it gets me thinking of, looking at problems and looking at political issues from a different perspective. With Steve Patterson, from Patterson and Pursuit, which is actually how I learned about Praxis, is through his podcast. But I like listening to him because I don't agree with him on a lot of the things. So a lot of the times what I'll do is I'll play the podcast when I have some free time, and then stop it every 5 minutes or so, and then write down my thoughts on it, how I think, how my opinion differs, and how I think it's, how it gets me thinking in a different direction than I was already thinking. So the next one is, what's the biggest difference between you and your peers in high school / college? I think the biggest difference between me and my peers in college is the conventionality. I think a lot of them are going through college to go the prescribed route, and I know when I started college, that's what I did. I went to basically, because that's what I thought that's the next step was in order to be successful. And I ended up not seeing really how the college experience aligned with my goals at all. So I learned very differently than the academic world teaches, and I come from a very family who is very interested in academics. But I was homeschooled, and so my mother would teach me in a way that where everything was a project, and that is absolutely the best way for me to have learned. Like for example, with history, she had us making, model Viking ships. She had us, have a, Greek day and a medieval day where we would, dress as they would and make the same foods as they would. So I really got that, learning is an immersive experience, and that's kind of the mentality I brought to college. And I remember one class, I don't even really like mathematics, but I made an analogy in a English class to a math concept, and the whole rest of the class just groaned, like, oh. And I don't know, I don't really get that, because I'm trying to I was trying to understand the concept, try to tie it into other concepts across different areas. And I think that's kind of the mentality that I bring to things, is to try to find the concept behind it and to tie it in order for better understanding. I think that's very important in if you want to be successful in anything, is to try to understand the concept and to tie it in. I think some of my experience is extremely helpful, because I have I think you have two different kinds of people. One they make decisions based on really thinking it through, but they're not usually as confident in their decisions. And on the other hand, you have people who are more confident in their decisions, but they might be stuck in a certain perspective. And I think I'm very much able to have the best of both worlds in that respect. I used to be very much the former, where I would think things through, but not have a lot of confidence in my decisions. But my life experience thus far has made me a lot more confident in my decisions. So I think I can apply what I know a lot better than I used to. So anyway, thank you very much for considering me. This is Krista Oldenburg.